Or welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda, and today I'm using my counterfeit kit challenge to play with Mad About Mini paper pads and using the 100 pattern paper challenge. And the 100 pattern paper challenge I'm using from last week, which was about National Marble Day, and I pulled out that Echo Park paper with the smiley faces on it because it kind of reminded me of marbles, and it might be a stretch, but they're circles and they're fun. And that's what I'm doing. So, and then Mad About Mini paper pads is using your mini paper pads to make your layout. And so I am trying to figure out how I want to set this up. So I'm going to put one page diagonal in the center there. And then I'm going to not line them up like this. So the light blue ones there, I'm going to line up this way, and then the emoji ones I'm going to cut off so that they go in that kind of direction that I've just used. Would have been totally easier had I just lined it up and put the paper on like I just had it and drew the lines and cut it, but that's not what I do. That would have been way easier. So I'm going to show you how I do this first one for cutting, and placing this piece of paper, and then I'm going to make the rest work. So I measured how large that 6x6 square is, and so across it's 9 and a little bit. So I'm just trying to get it centered on the page. I do mostly okay. It's not perfect, but it is enough. So, and then get this sorted down. I do want like the corners straight, because that will help even if it's not perfectly centered on the page. Those lines being straight will make it work a little bit better for visually what I'm going for. And so then that one's done. And then these are going to go like this, which I'm not going to do yet. And then these I'm going to line up. I need to line up enough on the edge for where I cut off that it goes in that straight line, which takes some thought. And it wouldn't have taken as much thought had I just taken the piece of paper and lined it up and drew the lines with like the 6x6 paper. But that's not what I do. And yeah. So I measure that one. I'm going to line this up again. I'm going to measure on the other side. I'm going to draw a line. Then I'm going to cut it off. It is not going to be perfect, but that's okay. And the bottom piece needs to come off, and I didn't really cut it very straight to start with. And then this is where I'm like, oh, that's not So the second one works out a bit better, and maybe it should have been the one that I kept to show, but this is the process that I did this with. So I'm just cutting off a little bit, checking, cutting off a little bit, checking, seeing how it goes. So it is what it is. I was deciding, can I like just actually copy this, and it's not going to fit the right way. So I have to do the same sort of procedure on the second one too, but because I've done it the first time, it's not as hard to do that. So just making sure this is straight, because it's not. I don't know how I did that. So I'm going to get this straight. I'm going to slice it off with my trimmer. Then I'm going to line it up again, and then I'm going to cut off the same amount from the top. So I'm just sorting out how much that needs to be. And then I'm going to mark it here, and then line it up and take that off. And then that's not too bad. So I'm going to do the same kind of process, but it ended up being a lot faster that way. So and then this goes on. And then this goes on, which is way easier. But I wanted those happy faces to be straight up and down. And that's why I didn't do the other corner like this, is because otherwise the happy faces would have been going diagonal. And that would have been totally fine. But I wanted the happy faces to be like straight in their line. So it is what it is. And then, so this picture is of me and my kiddos doing a selfie, just a random selfie, because why not? And so I'm going to mat this in the yellow instead. And this is from my counterfeit kit challenge 2. And I figured there's yellow in that happy face paper. So, and then this contrasts really well with the blue. So I thought that would be cute. And now I'm going to pull out some embellishments. So this You Make Me Happy, I thought worked really well. It's the same colors as the pink and the blue and the orange that's in that fun paper from Echo Park. I'm going to put this down a little bit more to the left, and then I start putting embellishments on and things move around and I don't have enough room. So I thought about that butterfly. It's not going to make it on here. It could have. It's the right color, but meh. What else can I put on here? So there's this set from Hip Kit Club that is from a long time ago. These are like one of the collections that came out during the time, during COVID. This was not during COVID for my picture, so I'm sticking away from some of the more stay home body kind of stuff, but there's some cute stuff in here that I'm like, maybe. So that homemade memories might have worked, but I really wanted to use that You Make Me Happy. So I'm not going to use that. And then I'm going to open up this Flourish one from Hip Kit Club, and I'm going to pull some other things out because I thought, why not? And so that orange piece says Living in the Moment. And there's peacock feathers in here. And they're the right kind of color. And it's kind of random. And I'm never going to use a peacock on anything else. So I'm going to use the peacock and the peacock flat feathers on here. Because what else would you use them on if you're not doing anything exotic like peacocks? And peacocks are exotic for us, so I was thinking of doing like that diagonal, but I wasn't kind of feeling it. It was really busy. And so I'm going to try a couple of different things here. Maybe the peacock up here. That one's okay. I like the feathers there. That home life I like at the top there too for that circle, because we're at home. So that works. And then I pulled out the hearts, and then this 3 is not going to be on here, but there is a few small ones. And then I'm going to pull out this dream catcher with the feathers too, and it's just going to be a backing piece, so you don't see the dream catcher part of it, but that does mimic the feathers for the peacock feathers on the other side, even though they're different feathers. And this is where I'm gonna be like, maybe the peacock there, and then you make me happy here. That I'm liking more, except now I'm like smushed on this corner. And that's better. I like these. Maybe this. Yep, that's better. Totally better. The sun's not gonna make it on there. And this is when move it over just a bit, like not that much, but enough that it gives me a little bit more room for the peacock and the layering, and that makes me happy. And A little bit here and a little bit there. And I'm going to get stuff glued on. I am going to committing to things. So making sure I can have as much of those feathers hanging out as possible without seeing the dream catcher. And I could have cut the dream catcher off and put it in there, but I didn't anticipate using it any other way. So use your stuff the way you need to. Like, a dream catcher doesn't make sense for 90% of what I do. So that does. So easy peasy. And then the peacock is going to go up on some foam. This I'm going to move just a little bit. Like so. A little more glue underneath because I ripped it up. And then just put that on so it sticks where I want it to. A couple of hearts up here. So sprinkling those hearts around. The blue one is going to go on the black, and the orange one is going to go underneath by the peacock. And then this living in the moment. And then I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it needs a little bit more yellow. So I'm going to use my Nuvo. These are crystal drops, and they don't come out as nicely as the pearl ones. So some of these are not very smooth, and I tap and move and tap and add a little more and unclog it because maybe it's not coming out because it's unclogged. I'm really squeezing on them. Maybe this one's pretty old, I think, but I just need to start using them. I need to use them like Mel W. Scrapping uses Nuvo drops. She uses it on everything. It's awesome. She is the pro at using Nuvo drops. So those ones don't end up being very nice looking, but oh well, they're on. It gives the illusion of kind of like an animal dot, even though they're not as pretty as they could be. That's okay. The only person that's going to notice is probably going to be me because my kids didn't say anything. So, and then sprinkling them lots on there so that they're here, there, and everywhere. And then here's my close-ups. So this is part of a traditional hop. So all the creatives that are playing along with the Mad About mini paper pads is listed in the description below. Make sure you go and check out and see what everybody else did with their mini paper pads, because yeah, using them up is so much fun to do. I will also have the 100 pattern paper Facebook challenge linked below, and so make sure you go take a look at what those challenges are. So that is to use 100 pattern papers. And I also have the counterfeit kit challenge linked below as well. Thank you for being here. If you're new here, I would love it if you subscribed, like, and comment. I always get back to you. Thank you again. Have yourself a wonderful day.